Kia ora, good morning. I'm Joanne, Speechley for KLTV, and this morning we're talking to Chair of Commissioners John Robertson. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, we have been out on the street today and we've had a chat to a couple of people, and they've asked us the questions that they would like to ask council. Now, the first one we have is, do we have insurance for the swimming pool?
The swimming pool's run by a trust, and so the council isn't involved in the operations of the pool. So that's really a question that you'd have to ask the swimming pool trust.
Okay. Now, someone else said to me this morning, what's with the drains, the open drains? Now, they're referring to the drains in town, I believe, but I noticed that some streets have guttering and curbing and some streets don't. Is there any policy around this and movement?
No, there's not. That's a matter of history and the way drains have been done over the years. And people are right. There's open drains, and then most of the town has got underground drains. But you can go to certain streets in Dargaville and then into Te Koparu and so on, where the drains have never been piped. And it is a source of questions from people sometimes. There might be just a 50-metre strip along the street that hasn't been piped, and people ask if council has a program to put pipes in those drains. The answer is that at this stage we are not filling in the open drains. We've got a lot of work to do just in terms of maintaining the pipes underground, and so that's the priority that we're putting on things at the moment.
So, just a question about my own doorstep, I guess. I've got a drain outside my house which grows beautiful watercress, and people come from far and wide to pick the watercress. But whose job is it, shall I say, to maintain that drain?
It would be the council's job to maintain it, so to ensure that the drain is running and doesn't create flooding and things like that. That's the council's job. So if there's an issue with a drain blocked, you should call the council customer service, and they will lodge something that should get somebody there to clean out the drain.
Okay, there'll be a few disappointed locals. Okay, now a recurring question which we hear probably every time I talk to you is, how long will the commissioners be here, and when will the kaipara get to vote in its own councillors?
The commissioners were appointed in September 2012, and our term comes to an end in October next year, so October 2015. And at that stage, it's planned that council elections will be held. And so part of our job as commissioners is to prepare for those elections.
Do you think that the term will end in 2015, or do you think there is some likelihood that it will be extended?
The only way it could be extended is if the Minister of Local Government made a decision like that. She will be getting advice from the Department of Internal Affairs on how ready we are, if you like, in kaipara to return to elections. From the Commissioner's perspective, we're neutral on this. We have had tasks to do, and we've been meticulously sort of working through them. There are some things that are taking longer than we wished, and those really relate to the history. So we're still in court. The Mangawhai Ratepayers and Residents Association took us to the High Court, took council to the High Court. The High Court did not give them what they wanted, so now they are going to the Court of Appeal. Now that Court of Appeal hearing could be sometime next year, it could be towards the end of next year, no one knows. So things like that, it'd be really good if everything like that had been ticked off, that we weren't in court anymore, that every ratepayer was paying their rates and so on.
In terms of that, with those outstanding rates, are they coming in slowly? Or?
Yes, they're coming in, and those that aren't paying now are probably, if you like, what I'd call the hardcore group that may not have paid rates for 3 years now. And the statistics show that most of them are not, they're resident outside of Kaipara.
Right.
Most of them live in Auckland.
Okay, and in terms of the other legal proceedings that are going on at the moment with former council and management, how are they moving along?
That's moving along, though I have to say, as we've seen with the Ratepayer Association, the court process takes time. So we are taking proceedings against the auditor of the years back, who we think did not do a job, was negligent in the job, and those proceedings are being prepared at the moment, and then we're taking proceedings against the former CEO at the moment as well.
Okay, now another question that was asked of us, but can you perhaps tell us a little more about the purpose of dog registrations and how the money that comes in is used?
Okay, so the just in terms of the money, so the council sets the fees for registration each year, and the community has a chance each year to comment on those. So, I mean, I remember last year at submissions there was just only a few submissions on dog registrations, but one of them was from some farmers, I think in Mangatoroto area, who were concerned that farm dogs shouldn't have a fee at the same level as town dogs. So anyway, the council sets those fees through after consultation. The fee revenue that comes in then is used in the compliance area. So if people complain about a dog in their street, or a dog is loose and doesn't seem to have an owner, and we have to bring in people to take the dog away, the money that is collected from the registration fees goes towards those services.
Makes sense. Was there any movement around the difference between, or as it is the same, between farm dogs and town dogs?
No, we didn't. We heard the submission last year. It was from, I think, 1 or 2 submitters, farmers, and I have to say I had some sympathy with that. Farmers, let's say with 6 or 7 dogs, they're typically not dogs that get into trouble or are a nuisance in a built-up area. So we didn't make a change then. We will be out to consultation again this year, and that is something that we can continue to give thought to. There are some councils in New Zealand, I think, that have a lower dog registration fee for farm dogs versus city dogs. So that's always on the table.
Good. Now, we had a lady that moved to the Kaipara earlier this year. She lives on Victoria Street, which is in Dargaville Township, and she puts out her yellow recycling bag every week and she says it's never been picked up, although there are weekly collections. What is the council's stance on recycling, and are there generally problems that you know of around this?
I haven't heard that particular problem. If there is a problem with collection and the recycling bag is not picked up, then it's important that she calls the council customer services, and we will arrange for that to be picked up. Recycling is really important. It's increasingly important in our communities, and it's increasingly important around our villages and places on the Kaipara Harbour. So we want to encourage in every way we can people to recycle, and the system is then managed by a company that is contracted to the council, Kaipara Refuse in this case, who then have the trucks that go around and pick up the rubbish and the recycling.
No, that is brilliant. That is the questions we had from people on the street today in Dargaville. Do you have any news that you would like to tell people in the Kaipara?
Well, I think we're increasingly thinking about the economy in the Kaipara, and so it's it's good to see there is some growth happening. There's clearly growth on the east coasts of towns in New Zealand, and in Kaipara's case in Mangawhai, growth is quite strong over there currently. But there's also activity, and if you think in Dargaville here, the investment by Countdown was really important for the community. We've got big employers like Silver Fern Farms, so we keep in touch with them and ensure that we're up to speed with any plans they have. Fonterra as well in Mangatoroto. I visited there just the other day, and we discussed their potential for expansion and so on. Here again, Rabobank's building coming to town. That's great. So I guess I almost have a feeling that there is more economic activity happening in the Kaipara than we've seen for some time now. So it's really positive.
Brilliant. Actually, one question we asked people on the street today was, do they have any New Year's resolutions? So tell us, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Oh wow, I haven't given a lot of thought to those at this stage, but clearly I guess there's the Christmas period's coming up, and Kaipara gets busy at this time. A lot of holiday people come into Kaipara, to Kaiwi Lakes, to Glinks, to obviously to Mangawhai and so on. So if one would want to wish people a really enjoyable time here, and in the new year that continues in a safe way around our beaches and so on, that people take care to look after themselves and ensure they come out of Kaipara safely.
Good stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming in today. And we will join John Robertson again next month at the KLTV. If you have any questions that you'd like to put to Council, you can email us info@nsmm.co.nz.